So the new Scream movie is less than 2 weeks away here, and its entire marketing campaign has been really centered on who the killers are going to be. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my own personal predictions on who I think is going to live, die, and of course be revealed as Ghostface in the end. Okay, so I've gone ahead and made a little chart here to kind of make this easier and more streamlined. I should point out before we get into this that I have no insider knowledge on what's going to happen with this movie. I've been relatively spoiler and trailer free. I've only seen the first trailer and I've only watched it once. Pretty much just going on what I know about these characters, which is not really a whole lot. We've got 13 in total here, which does include all of the main cast members who did receive their own promotional photo with the Ghostface mask, and then Vince, who for some reason doesn't have his own poster, so I guess he's not that integral of a character, but his name has been thrown out there a lot, so I figured I would add him to this as well. I've made 5 categories for this list here, and of course first we've got Ghostface, which is pretty self-explanatory. Whoever I put there is who I think Ghostface is going to be. That could be 1 or 2 or more people. Red herring, that is going to be the people who are like the ones that are really going to be pushed as the killer. RIP, that's going to be the people who die. And again, that doesn't mean that, you know, the ghost faces or the red herrings aren't going to die either. This is just the category for the people who I simply think are just fodder for the kill count here. Survivor, obviously the people who make it to the end. And wild card, I'll explain that one more as I get to the character I put there, because there's only one character who's kind of a wild card for me. So I'm going to start off with the OG characters here, Sidney in particular, and I'm gonna say that she's gonna survive this movie. And the reason why I think she's going to survive is because I think that it would be a mistake to kill off Sidney. I think that her role here is going to be very much akin to Nancy coming back in Nightmare 3, where she's kind of the mentor to this new crew of characters. And of course, you know, it's spoilers for Nightmare 3, I guess, but, you know, that didn't really work out so well for her in the end. And I know that Wes Craven regretted that. And I think that just in terms of these new directors respecting Wes Craven, that's not going to be something that they're going to do with Sidney Prescott. So I feel like she's safe here. I do think that at least one of the OGs is going to get killed off. They know that Scream 4 kind of played it safe with them. And coming back for a 5th movie with like all 3 of your main stars is kind of unprecedented. So the time is up for one of them, and I think that that's going to be Dewey. So I think RIP for Dewey, which I don't want to see any of these 3 die, but I have a feeling that it's going to be him and not Gale, because the thing is with Dewey, he's kind of like the backbone of the 3 of them. Like without Dewey, Sidney and Gale don't have a relationship. And if Dewey dies, like he's kind of has such a strong connection with both Sidney and Gale separately that's going to only strengthen the bond of those 2 characters moving forward. So with Gale, I'm going to say that she survives as well. And because I wanted to comment on this, you know, a lot of people think that these characters are coming back and they're going to be revealed as the killer. Let me just say this, like, obviously if one of these 3 are revealed as the killer, that'll be shocking. I'll give you that. It'll be shocking. I mean, I wouldn't predict it, but at the same time, just because it's shocking doesn't mean that it's good. Like, it doesn't mean that it's logical, and, you know, you have to think of the fallout after that, and also kind of like the setup and what reason these characters would have to go on a murder spree. Like, it's ridiculous. None of these people are going to be the killer. And if they are, like, kudos for blindsiding me like that, but also your movie automatically sucks. Let's move on to Vince here, just because he's right there. I'm gonna say red herring. I don't know anything about this character really. I just kind of, from his look, I think that he's gonna be one of those people who's just like, oh, he could be the killer. You know, but just like the suspicious type, like I guess like the Trevors of the Scream 4 and Detective Kincaid in Scream 3. Just thinking of people who like just look shady, but turn out to be nothing. So he's a red herring. He'll probably be RIP. I don't think that any one other than who I put in the survivor category will survive. So he's going to be a red herring until he's not, and he's going to die. Liv. Liv. I'm gonna say R.I.P. She's not making the sequel. She's like the Tatum character or like the Olivia character in this movie. I think that this movie is going to really push an angle of making us think that it's going to be two female killers, because that's something that hasn't been done. We've seen the two male killers, we've seen male-female killer combinations, we've seen the one male killer. Having said that, though, I'm going to say that Amber, is that her? Amber, yeah. Amber's a red herring. And I think that that's kind of going to be primarily where the two female killer idea comes in. I think that Amber's going to be kind of like the main red herring of the movie. She just seems like really shifty. The actress who portrays her was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood playing one of those Manson cult members. So, you know, she can do the crazy, but I don't think that she's going to be the killer. Okay, Richie. Richie's going to be R.I.P. From what we've seen with this cast, they're all very integrated. Like, it seems like everybody knows each other. They're all Woodsboro based. I think if there's one character that's kind of the outsider here, that is Richie, because he just seems to kind of have a relationship with Samantha and only really knows her through, like, I guess her new life after she's left Woodsboro. It's possible, you know, he could be presented as a red herring because he's an outside character, but I think that he's just gonna be like kind of a sucker. Like, he's just gonna be the unfortunate person who gets involved in this. Like, maybe the Derek type, so there could be red herringness to his character. But I think that Vince and Amber are going to be the two characters that are really going to be put under the microscope by the other people in this movie. All right, I'm going to give you one of the killers, because I think that there's two, and I don't want to like string you along too long. So I think that Wes is going to be one of the killers. I guess I'll get more into it when I put the other person who I think the killer is going to be. But from everything that it sounds like, you know, he's kind of being set up as like the new Randy, being the one that's like the cautious one of the group. So I'm kind of leaning towards it's going to be like the person who you least suspect. You know, the people who are the ones who are like, no, like, don't do that. Like, you know, follow the rules, yada, yada, yada. So more on him later, but I'm going to go ahead and give you Chad. And Chad, I think, is going to survive the movie. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put Mindy there as well, because they're the twins, and I think they're both gonna survive because you're gonna need new characters lined up so that you could get some new movies going forward, because you're gonna want to see familiar faces going into Scream 6 or 7. They are relatives of Randy. They're Meekses. Their presence, I feel, is kind of like the franchise amending the fact that they killed off Randy in the second movie, because I think that it would just be a twisting of the knife if, you know, they've killed Randy and then they've brought in new characters who are, you know, like part of his lineage, and they're just like, well, we're gonna kill them too. And I don't think that they would be the killers because it's not in that family's DNA, but I think they're gonna survive, and I hope they do, because I don't want to see any more pain befall the Meeks family. They've been through enough. Samantha's gonna survive. Samantha's the main character. Samantha is the new Sidney Prescott moving forward. And I don't see them doing like another Jill thing here. That would just feel really played out. There's a chance that maybe that could be a twist and she could die, and you know, we didn't see it coming. I'm leaning more towards, you know, the idea that, you know, we're setting up this new character. We're gonna wanna keep going with her. So I'm banking on her survivability. So the second killer, I'm just gonna reveal it right now. And that's gonna be Judy Hicks. And I know this is ridiculous. Okay, but let me just say this. This franchise has a history of kind of repeating itself, not in a very overt way, but in just like subtle ways, and that's kind of comes in how it connects back to the horror genre as a whole. And I know that they've said that this movie's not going to be very meta. It's not going to be referencing other horror movies as much as it is referencing itself. But I mean, even if you're referencing yourself, like you look at the past killers, you've had Billy Loomis and Mrs. Loomis. But even outside of that, just like the mother-son duo, like there's so many movies where the mother turns out to be the killer. And Judy is a very eccentric character. Like she's a bit nutty, and I don't know how that's going to tie into Scream 4, since this is a character who's brought back from Scream 4. I don't think that she had any involvement with Jill or Charlie in that plan. I think that it's possible that maybe there is something that will be retconned as part of Scream 4 that we didn't know about, just in terms of her character, or just something that might have set her off. But regardless of what happens, I think that the backstory of whatever the reason for the motive of the murders is going on is connected to Samantha, and it has something to do with the kids when they were younger, like the new teenagers. So Wes when he was younger. And it, you know, if that's the case, it could be like just Judy covering up for her son. It always comes back to the family with these movies. And that's gonna bring me to Tara, the last pick, which is my wild card. Now, what I mean by wild card is that I think that it's possible she could be many things. And I don't really know. Like, this is the one character I can't pinpoint. It's possible she could survive. Like, we do have a lot of surviving characters at this point. Also, very possibly, we're gonna say that this film has 3 killers, and she could be the potential third Ghostface. Again, I don't necessarily think that that's gonna happen. I just don't know where they're going with this character, so I wanted to kind of leave her a little open-ended. But I guess we'll see what happens when the movie is released. If you guys want to check out some more Scream videos, they're just right over here, and I will be right back.